Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest live stream. Hope everybody's having a good afternoon and evening so far, and I hope everybody had a fantastic Easter. We do have a little bit of severe weather to talk about tonight. Nothing that's crazy or off the charts, but we are watching some severe storms through the southern and central plains. A lot of these will be producing some hail upwards of, we could even see a couple of storms upwards of hen egg sized hail, so we have to watch these storms pretty closely, along with the threat for some damaging winds and maybe an isolated tornado is not out of the question. So I'm going to give you an idea of what's going to be happening over the next several hours, what we have ongoing here across the southern and central plains right now, and we also have some live feeds to kind of show you what's actually happening across this region, because there are some pretty impressive looking supercells right now, especially here in Oklahoma, with a severe thunderstorm watch, by the way. So let's get right into it. So right now we do have a severe thunderstorm watch ongoing for those in Oklahoma and even into north central Texas. It actually is a slightly larger area than I expected, and not just that, I mean, this is a watch that was not actually supposed to be issued. There's only like a 20% chance of us actually seeing a severe thunderstorm watch, but we officially have one here for those in the Oklahoma City metro, which is an area I'm a bit concerned about here within the next hour or two, and also back through north central Texas. That'll be a threat all the way until 10 o'clock central time. I will not be live for this entire event, but I'll at least be live for like an hour or two, since the severe weather will really be peaking over the next hour or two in terms of the hail threat and as well as the damaging wind threat. And we also could see an isolated tornado. I'll show you where that might happen in just a moment. Also, the hailstone size, the maximum that the Storm Prediction Center thinks that'll happen is hen egg size. We've already seen multiple reports of varying anywhere from quarter-sized all the way up to golf ball sized hail out of some of these storms already. Obviously, more of that is to come over the next hour or two. In addition to that, there could be a couple of storms with damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. The damaging wind threat is a secondary threat in comparison to the hail threat, just for those that are wondering. So if you want to take any precautions now before these storms do arrive, I would definitely be preparing for the hail potential in comparison to the damaging wind threat. Even though you should prepare for both, definitely make sure your number one priority is covering your vehicle, plants, all that sort of stuff. Anything that can basically get break or take dents to it, make sure you're covering that sort of stuff. In addition to that, there's an isolated chance for a tornado. Now, the tornado risk actually will not really be in Oklahoma or Texas. Even though it's not zero, it is like 0.01% chance of us actually seeing any sort of tornado action down here in Oklahoma. The area that we could see an isolated tornado is actually back up here in southeast Kansas, believe it or not. Now, this really depends on the basically the moisture in the lower levels. If there's enough moisture in the lower levels, we actually could see maybe an isolated tornado over the next few hours, maybe an area like Benedict or Independence or even back through Lola. These are the areas that we have to watch for maybe an isolated tornado. Now, the risk is not huge. We're not looking for a strong, long track sort of tornado, but we might see something kind of isolated here. And just a moment ago, we actually had a little bit of rotation on one of these cells. I'm going to double check here. Not really a whole lot right now, but you can kind of see here, there is a little bit of rotation. Nothing crazy. Here are your winds going away from the radar, and this is going towards the radar. So that is your current counter, or your clockwise spin, actually. So we might see a cyclonic sort of tornado here near Savory, and this is something to watch over the next few hours. Will maybe be a brief spin up in something like this, but overall, nothing too concerning. If a tornado were to happen in this sort of environment, it would be brief and it would also be weak. But if you are storm chasing, this is the area to be over the next few hours. If there is enough of that low level of moisture, we very well could see maybe a quick tornado or two across this region. But again, that threat really remains pretty low. In terms of what we're looking at for today, in terms of the threat level, it is not huge. Again, I actually do quite often cover slight risks of severe weather. I know a lot of other people don't. I almost always cover slight risks, even regardless of how large it is. But in this sort of case, it's not a huge slight risk of severe weather. It goes from southern Kansas back through Oklahoma, or just about Oklahoma City, and then to southwest Oklahoma. Our marginal threat goes all the way back even into western sections there of Missouri and into north central Texas. Again, the main concern for tonight will be the threat for some large hail. Your 15% probability within a 25-mile radius does exist just to the north and west of the Oklahoma City metro area. In addition to that, the tornado risk that the Storm Prediction Center has outlined, actually, I don't think, oh, yeah, but they do. Never mind. Let's go back over to here. So here's your tornado probability. Again, it's primarily going to be back up here in southern Kansas and then back through northern sections of Oklahoma. Again, I'm not too concerned about this threat, but we might see an isolated tornado over the next hour or two. Main reason why we're going live is because we might be able to see something on the radar, maybe even on a live cam that we have, maybe of a quick tornado here. So we'll watch this area pretty closely, definitely for that low-end tornado potential. Again, it's a 2% chance. That's pretty close to zero, but it's not obviously zero. We very well could see something in that area. In comparison to areas like Oklahoma, we're not looking at any sort of tornado risk, in my opinion. I think it's going to be mainly hail hail. We've had some nasty hailstorms already, and there's actually one currently just to the northwest of Oklahoma City. This one's over by near Kingfisher, I believe. I can't really read that name. The warning's kind of blocking. I think it's Kingfisher, though. Currently in this little hailstorm that's ongoing, and here's your hail core just along 81 south of Dover, and we also have another one back west of Crescent, Oklahoma, and west of Cedar Valley. Two different hail cores that are on the radar right now. Both of them, again, producing around quarter to half dollar sized hail. Wouldn't rule out even up to ping pong ball sized hail. We've had some pretty nasty hail cores over the last hour. Another storm that has had a history of producing up to ping pong ball sized hail is this one. It actually went through areas like Greenfield within the last 30 minutes, and it did produce some hail upwards of ping pong ball size. This is around, this warning will end around 6 o'clock. Quarter sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Storm motion, if you have not already noticed, is south. These are not going east or west. All the storms in Oklahoma are going south. The ones back up in very far northern Oklahoma and back into Kansas are really going more a bit east or more eastwards than the southerly storms that we're seeing here. So something to keep in mind there. A bit further down to the south and west, we have a new warning that just got issued not too long ago. This one's going to be northwest of Frederick near Magnum, and this is for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Again, these are really going to be just little blimps on the radar. We're going to see these storms kind of pop up kind of just, quickly. They're not going to be long-track supercells for the most part. We did actually have a supercell back down in central Texas earlier that had a pretty impressive hail core. It was producing upwards of ping pong ball-sized hail, maybe even golf ball-sized, and that storm did end up weakening very quickly. And with the environment that we're in, a lot of these supercells are going to spawn. They're going to last for maybe a half an hour to an hour, and then they're going to start weakening. And the main reason why the upper level winds are not very strong today, they're very weak across this region, which means the overall updrafts are not going to be as intense. That means they're not going to be as long tracked. So these things are going to be really quick, but they are going to be something to really watch for, because we will see some of these storms over the next few hours really just start popping all over the place, like exploding here across the Oklahoma City metro. This is going to be an area to watch for that hail threat, and that's why I'm more concerned about the hail threat. It's going to remain scattered across this region. We might see some damaging winds and maybe a tornado, but I'm not too concerned about the long-term threat of severe weather. A little upgrade on the warning, by the way, near Kingfisher. This is going to be for golf ball-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds, so just make sure you're staying away from windows here. This is northwest Oklahoma City. This is going to include areas like Kingfisher County. That's the only county included here. That is for some golf ball sized hail, and that's moving right now down to the south. I'll put a little track on this storm as well, and we'll kind of give you an idea of where this is going to be heading over the next 30 to 45 minutes. But again, this storm is probably going to be the most concerning over the next 30 minutes, but after that, it will not be nearly as concerning. Let's go and, okay, it glitched out. Let's try this. My entire software just froze. All right, let's try to refresh it real quick. But that storm in particular is going to be the one that's most concerning over the next half an hour. And then the other ones that are kind of just starting to develop, those will also be kind of concerning in terms of the hail potential especially. But we might see some damaging winds. All right, let me real quick fix this. And we'll put on a little timing guide for you to give you an idea of where this storm is currently heading. Because this storm is not going to be going directly towards Oklahoma City. It'll be kind of on the western side of Oklahoma City. So this is your current timing on this storm. These are not moving very quickly, by the way. They're moving about 20 miles per hour peak. A lot of these are only moving about 15 to 20 miles per hour, though. These are very slow moving supercells. Again, with the upper level and mid-level winds being so weak today, these storms are not moving very fast. They're not racing like what we saw the other day. This storm, though, in particular, is going to be reaching areas like El Reno in about just over an hour, as well as Union City around 100 minutes from now, and then Mustang in 105 minutes. I'll actually put back on the timing since we do have, we're not in Eastern time zone anymore. Let's go and do that. All right, let's try that. This will be a little bit better. Oops. This should give us an idea, though, of the actual timing here instead of, nope, that's not how you do it. One moment, please. Trying to see if I can put back on the timing, unless it's just glitched out again. It might just be glitched out again, but yeah, oh, actually, no, there we go. All right, here's your timing. It's on the left side of your screen. So again, 5:55 for Okarche, as well as El Reno by about 6:37, Yukon right around 6:41, Union City 7:09, as well as Tuttle right around 7:31. So that's your current timing again on this area. It's this storm in particular is going to stay west of the Oklahoma City metro. It will not go directly into the Oklahoma City metro. So if you are currently in the Oklahoma City area, I'm not overly concerned about this cell in your location right now, but it will be something to watch out for over the next hour or two. There will be probably a couple other storms that develop just to the north. And we do have actually a live view on this storm right now. Here's the current live view from the Oklahoma transportation. You can see here, that is the dark skies. This is on the northern side of Oklahoma City, so you can actually see these storms that are back out to the west, and they're not very close to Oklahoma City right now, so I'm not too concerned about Oklahoma City in the next hour, but you should be on guard right around 7 to 8 o'clock is probably your best chance to see an isolated severe storm. All right, let's go China down to here. I'll stay on this storm for now. How's everybody doing? Welcome on into the stream. Hope everybody's having a good afternoon / evening. Hope everybody had a good Easter. It has been a good relaxing weekend overall after all the severe weather that we've had. It's been a good weekend. I'm not making a video, by the way, today, so this will basically be the video. So I'll probably talk a little bit. I'm probably going to talk about the next few days in this forecast just a little bit, or this live stream, because there are going to be some things to watch out for this upcoming week. Nothing that is going to be super concerning until Friday. Friday is the next time that we actually might have a chance for a severe weather outbreak. Threat right now is low. Let me just real quickly go through that since we have a quick second in between the radar scans. Let's go over to here. I think that's the right screen. So yeah, all right. So here's the next few days overall. So again, we'll have some isolated severe weather tonight. After tonight, we're not really looking at anything too crazy. Once we get into tomorrow, Thursday, whatever, nothing that's crazy across the United States. I'd say the craziest thing is that subtropical low that'll develop just off the coast of Louisiana. Even that's not overly concerning. It's just gonna be some isolated flooding along with some gusty winds. But that'll obviously be something to watch for because, you know, it's not a tropical storm, but it will be subtropical. So we'll have similar characteristics and impacts to those along the Gulf Coast. But again, I'm not looking at anything too crazy. No crazy storm surge, no needed for evacuations. It's going to be pretty much just like a regular rainy day there down in southern Louisiana. But once we go into Friday, that is our next chance for a big severe weather event. Here's the low pressure system going into Friday, and you might be thinking this looks awfully similar to what we've seen the last 2 times, almost in the same spot. Honestly, it is. It looks kind of like what we just saw the other day, and as well as what we saw a couple Fridays ago. This looks almost identical to another severe weather outbreak that we could end up seeing. Well, not necessarily. There's a chance that this does end up creating some pretty significant severe weather. You can see here going into late Friday. The European model does have some showers and storms exploding across the central plains back into Iowa. So this will be something to really watch for closely because we could see a severe weather outbreak, but it does not seem to be nearly as bad as either of those 2 events. So we're progressively getting, like, you know, better in a sense of seeing less severe weather out of these events, but this will still be something to watch for closely. It seems like the main impact region for those, this will basically be the main impact region for Friday as well as Saturday. This is where the best chance for severe weather will likely exist. And even going into late Saturday into Sunday, that threat might shift into the northeast and as well as back even through the Dixie Alley. So some areas to really watch out for closely with the system. It's going to depend on how quickly this low pressure system strengthens. In addition to that, will there be a cap in place and all that sort of details? Those things will get kind of ironed out over the next few days with this sort of event. So it's not like a super concerning, need a panic sort of situation. No, it's nothing like that. But we are going to be watching for a potential severe weather outbreak on Friday and maybe even into Saturday. This will definitely be something to watch for. Long term, though, after that, we're not looking at anything really at all. We're not looking at any massive severe weather outbreaks. This one will potentially be a severe weather outbreak, but I do not think it'll be massive in terms of like a full-blown tornado outbreak or something like that. I don't think that'll happen, but again, we very well could see some significant severe weather out of that at some point down the road. But make sure you're still monitoring our forecast. Again, I'll keep you posted with any new details with that because that will probably be our next storm. I did hint at it in yesterday's video. If you did not already watch it, that video literally broke down everything that you need to know about that. So that's what we're looking at in terms of that. Also, we do have a flood warning. I didn't actually go over this yet. Let me just real quickly go to this. We do have a flood warning back near Ottawa for another 200 minutes, and this goes until 9 o'clock Central Time. I'm guessing there's already been a lot of rain here. Let me just double check to see how many inches of rain they've had. So they've had around 2 to 3 inches of rain so far, and another 1 to 3 inches could fall here over the next few hours. So this will be an area to watch for some heavy rainfall. So nothing too crazy, but again, something to watch for over the next few hours. That's, again, decent amount of rain, though. I know a lot of these areas, I don't know about the central plains. I know the southern plains, especially in Texas. A lot of Texas needs rain right now. I'm not sure if that area needs it. Let me just double check here. Drought monitor. Actually, I think I can pull up the drought monitor on here. I'm just not sure if it's updated. There is a drought monitor feature on here, but I'm not sure if it's updated. I'm not even sure if it's working. Yeah, this actually, I think this is pretty updated. So yeah, it looks like there's still a drought ongoing back up into Kansas, especially along the Oklahoma and Kansas border. I mean, if anybody's in this area, you could probably vouch for that. Let me just double check to make sure this is updated correctly. So yeah, this is an area that we have a pretty significant drought ongoing. Back down into Texas, it's really primarily just west of DFW. That's where the largest drought is, as well as back through San Antonio. But yeah, this is a pretty concerning drought right now. We have an exceptional drought across areas in Kansas and northern Oklahoma. Hopefully some of this rain helps. I know Ottawa doesn't necessarily need rain. They're actually right around what they need. They're not in any sort of drought right now. I know it shows the yellow, but this yellow is just glitched out. You can actually see the yellow for some reason just like looks like a cone. This is not, I don't know what's going on here, but the graphic glitched out. But over here again in southwest Kansas, southern Kansas, and back through northern Oklahoma, that is our region of an exceptional drought right now. So any rain is definitely going to be needed across that area, as well as Nebraska. Nebraska needs some rain, but the drought actually is not too bad. I mean, even back over in California, the drought is almost gone, which is actually incredible. What we've seen over the last few months back over in California has really been amazing. There's like hardly any drought over there, which is amazing news. So yeah, really, really good news overall. All right, let's go back down here. I'll take down the drought monitor. And yeah, cool. I doubt Michigan will see any interesting weather for a while. Next weekend, keep a close eye on the weekend. Probably Saturday. Saturday will be an interesting day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's like the next event that we'll have. I don't know if it's going to be like a significant severe weather outbreak at this point. It just depends on the features that come with it. The capping potential with that is kind of high right now, so we might see a capped off environment. What that basically means is that clouds will not be able to go past a certain height, and with that being said, if they cannot go past a certain height, we're not looking at supercell thunderstorms, but some areas will probably see severe weather on Friday night. The Storm Prediction Center did mention they're going to issue a new outlook at some point down the road, maybe like a 15% probability or something like that, maybe as early as tomorrow. I wouldn't rule it out, and that's what we're going to be watching for next. And I mentioned that on yesterday's video. Again, that's our next event, will be Friday through Sunday. It's dry here in Moore, Oklahoma. Yeah, Moore, Oklahoma should see some rain tonight. These storms aren't going, you know, super fast, and I know they are really slow moving. They are moving at a snail's pace right now, but most of these storms, there will be more that develop later tonight anyways. I know what we're seeing right now is kind of like we're kind of in the peak over the next hour or two in terms of severe weather, but the severe weather will really ramp up going closer to like, I don't know, 6:30, and then back through the Oklahoma City metro. That's when you'll probably see some storm action around 7 to 8 o'clock. That's probably your best chance for severe weather. Now, I wouldn't rule out a storm earlier than that. We do have a few storms that not even that far away from Oklahoma City. These are a good, I don't know, 20 miles maybe. I can go and measure it on the map here, but they're not too far away from Oklahoma City right now. Yeah, about 30 miles. Yeah, 30 miles or so right now from Oklahoma City. So a good hour and a half probably away from severe weather if you are to see any. Again, this is probably the most concerning area for storms right now is to your north, and these storms are moving directly south, producing up to golf ball sized hail. We actually just had a report from Spotter Network in Kingfisher of around 1 to 1.5 inch diameter hail. So there has been some hail with this storm. And obviously, there's been multiple hail reports. But yeah, we've had around golf ball sized hail here throughout Kingfisher. We had another one just back to the north of Kingfisher of about golf ball sized hail. So Kingfisher County is still under a severe thunderstorm warning until 6 o'clock tonight. And then after that, we'll be watching for more severe weather action just to the north of El Reno, and then eventually going towards Oklahoma City. So that's really the next area. And we'll probably be at least live through Oklahoma City. Holy cow. There has been a ton of hail out of the storm in Watonga. Watonga had a ton of hail in that storm. Like, it looks like it snowed. I'm going to see if I can find any photos of that. Yeah, Watonga just had a ton. I mean it, a ton of hail. There's been around 2 inches... crazy enough, there's been around 2 inches of hail accumulation in Watonga. Watonga's back over here to the west. This city here, this was about an hour and a half ago when they saw hail, but people are driving through right now, and there's been a ton of hail accumulation, which is actually wild. So yeah, this storm apparently produced a ton of hail. And I'm going to try to see if I can find any videos or photos of it, but there are a few on Twitter. I'll probably, at least at the bare minimum, retweet one on Twitter. That's what I'll end up doing. So I'm going to retweet one on Twitter if you want to check out my Twitter page. It's at MaxVelocityWX. So you'll be able to see a video of the hail accumulation, which is actually wild, over in Watonga. It's been around ping pong to golf ball sized hail. So crazy stuff. Kingfisher on rotation. I'll check in just a second. All right, let's check out the velocities. That's probably not rotation, but I'll just double check here. Let's go back a second. Go to the correlation coefficient too to match that up. No, that's not rotation. That's not even on the storm. No, that's not rotation. There is some wind though. There's definitely a little bit of damaging winds with this, but no rotation on this storm. And we're in this environment down here around Oklahoma City. There really isn't any sort of tornado risk. The one area that I have a little bit more concern about an isolated tornado will be back up here in Oklahoma. You actually might notice a little bit of this, but we do have a little bit of rotation. This is actually clockwise rotation. Usually storms are rotating counterclockwise, so we might see an isolated tornado up here if the environment is ripe. And at this point, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if there's been a sounding that's been sent off, or not sounding, a weather balloon that's been shot off in this area or not, but if there has been one and they've measured that moisture in those mid to lower levels, that will give us an idea of what we're actually looking at for a tornado risk. If there isn't a whole lot of moisture up there, just a few thousand feet off the ground, we're probably not going to see a tornado, but if there is enough, there might be an isolated tornado anywhere between Howard to maybe Fredonia. I wouldn't rule out an isolated tornado through Independence, but it's probably a lower risk. Really, it's going to be in this area here for any sort of isolated tornado risk. So, yeah, any storms over the next few hours, they might produce an isolated tornado. But otherwise, Oklahoma, the risk for a tornado is extremely low to zero. It's really, really low. And again, the upper level winds, the lower level winds, everything is just not there for this event. But we've been basically, this environment that we have is just ripe enough for some severe weather. The dew points are in the mid to upper 50s. They're not really too far off from being below 55, which usually when they're below 55, we're not looking at anything too crazy in terms of severe weather. Sometimes we get hailstorms like this, but usually not golf ball sized hail like what we're seeing here. But this storm's been pretty impressive so far. It actually is still going, which is kind of crazy. This one's still producing golf ball sized hail. Hasn't really shown any signs of weakening quite yet. If we go over the 1 hour loop here, you'll be able to see the storm has been, if anything, actually intensifying a little bit here as it goes through. It just went through Kingfisher. So we might be talking about some numerous hailstone sizes around $1.25 to $1 sized hail. There is now an observed threat, by the way, for Greer and Harmon County in Oklahoma. That's the warning back over here. This is now a confirmed threat here of quarter sized hail that is going towards Gold and Hollis. So if you're in southwest Oklahoma, little hailstorm there, nothing too concerning, but again, make sure you're just staying away from windows. And in addition to that, if you've not already, protect your vehicle. That's a really good idea here. But yeah, this is again the evolution of the supercell over the last hour. How's it going, Mystic? Welcome back. It is going pretty good. Nice relaxing weekend, and I'm live. I usually do not go live for small scale events like this, but I felt like I wanted to anyways because I didn't make a video today. I was thinking about making a video, and I was like, I mean, there's really not a whole lot else to talk about in today. If I were to make a video today, there wouldn't have been much else to talk about other than what we literally just talked about in yesterday's forecast. So I didn't want to really be on repeat mode. So I went live instead, and we got a little bit of severe weather. So we'll see what kind of unfolds here over the next hour. But nothing, again, too wild, nothing too out of the blue here. But if we get some more of these storms kind of popping, we might see some more significant hail. And again, Oklahoma City is at least where I'll probably be live through. So if there's any storms near Oklahoma City, we'll probably be live through that. And then that'll probably still be about an hour from now anyways. But other than that, the storms back up in southeast Kansas are not too concerning right now. There's an isolated risk for a tornado, so we'll watch that kind of closely over the next hour as well. How's it going, Rebecca? Welcome back. Please do not put zip codes in the chat. I do not go off of zip codes. Trust me, I'm not looking up zip codes. I'm also not doing personal forecasts. I do not do that sort of stuff. I know some YouTubers do it. Personal forecasts are just like kind of like repeating what the weather app says. Here's the latest severe thunderstorm warning. This is gonna be west of Oklahoma City. Golf ball sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds still ongoing here. Again, just south of Kingfisher is where this new warning is going to be included. So, the main counties included will be Kingfisher County and as well as Canadian County. So, all Reno's in the track of a golf ball-sized hailstorm just to the west of Oklahoma City. So, make sure you're staying away from windows as this storm continues to move down to the south. And again, west of Oklahoma City is where we're looking at for some golf ball-sized hail. 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds is also possible. If we go over to the hail radar, we can go and check that out. This will give us an idea of what the hailstones are with this storm. Near Kingfisher particularly, and this is kind of the last like 30 to 45 minutes. So near Kingfisher, that is where we're seeing some hail around ping pong ball sized hail. That's near 33 and 81. And then moving down to the south, again, the hail core only updates like every 5 minutes. So right now, going on near 81, it's probably around ping pong ball sized hail, if not a little bit larger. And just kind of keeping back in the mind here, you see this little yellow box there. That is golf ball sized hail that was reported. And we've actually had hail up in this direction around golf ball size, even though it's only estimating around quarter. So I wouldn't rule out even back through Kingfisher that we're talking about golf ball to maybe hen egg sized hail just south of Kingfisher. So keep that in mind. Again, we're not looking at anything too out of the blue when it comes to a tornado risk here. No risk of a tornado with this storm. It's more of a hail potential as it continues to move down to the south and southeast. And then here is a look at the velocities. Just give you an idea of what we're looking at in terms of that tornado risk. Again, no sort of rotation with this storm, but you do see the brighter reds. That will be representing some damaging wind potential upwards of 60 miles per hour going through Okarche. I don't know how to say the name, but that's what we're looking at there. All right, let's go over to here, and we'll go back to here. Wow, this hailstorm's exploding. Look at the latest radar scan here. Go back to the live radar feed. This is a pretty impressive looking storm here. You can see the hail core. It's humongous northwest of Oklahoma City. Pretty impressive here. Let's go and circle this area, and we're going to put on the correlation coefficient. This will give us an idea of how much hail's falling. There's a ton of hail falling with this storm. I wouldn't be surprised in Kingfisher if we were seeing some really heavy hail here. I'm going to see if we have any photos or videos coming out of here. Golf ball sized hail has been confirmed, by the way, in Kingfisher. So that literally was just confirmed. There is a photo of it. Somebody actually has a whole tool for it, which is pretty impressive. But yeah, again, Kingfisher, we just had a photo of golf ball sized hail. I'll see if I can find that again. Also, another report from Spotter Network here of some quarter-sized hail a mile north of Kingfisher. Yeah, the hailstone size is getting bigger right now in Kingfisher and just south of there. We have two different hail cores here. And again, the correlation coefficient is picking up on that hail. Let me go back over to the live radar. Yeah, again, really large hail core here over Kingfisher. This is one of the larger, this is some of the deeper reflectivity I've seen on radar in quite a while. Even from the last hail event that we had back up in the Midwest, reflectivity values upwards of 70 to 75 usually weren't really happening a whole lot with that event. I mean, peak right now is around 73 decibels. So yeah, I mean, that's a pretty decent amount here. 70 to 75. Pretty sure the last event that we had in the Midwest was close to that number. It was around 70, I think we had a peak of 70, 72. So no new photos right now. Again, we'll keep you posted if we have any photos out of here, but there's probably a lot of hail right now falling with this storm. The storm right now is moving south, by the way, at 15 miles per hour, just to the northwest of Oklahoma City. Again, make sure you bring any sort of animals, pets, that sort of thing inside as well if you're in this warning. Take the proper precautions before this severe weather does roll through, but again, pretty large hail. This warning just got upgraded, by the way, to hen egg-sized hail. So we are now up to 2-inch diameter hailstones with this storm as it continues to move down to the south. Do we have any other reports here? Yeah, so again, hen egg-sized hail is possible here with the storm. That is the latest on this cell. Thank you, Kathy, by the way, for becoming a Storm Chaser member. I appreciate it. Thank you. You're becoming a Storm Chaser member. Yeah, so the warning, actually, both warnings have now been upgraded to 2-inch diameter. It shows still 1.75 inches, but these are now both up to 2-inch diameter hail. So again, west of Oklahoma City, we do have a live cam on this storm, I'm pretty sure, so let me hop over to that. Yeah, so we do literally have a live cam feed right now. For 1 second. Yeah, so here's the live. This is a live cam view from Oklahoma City area right now, live. And this is kind of hard to put on the screen here. I'm trying to like put it so it actually kind of looks better. That makes sense. So yeah, here is the live shot here, looking west right now. This is from the Oklahoma Transportation, and you can see there again dark skies in the background. The storm that we're looking at that's severe is right here. We're looking directly west. So again, another cell down here to the southwest of there, but this is the main cell that we're watching. So again, it's very significant hail back at the top right of your screen. So that's what we're looking at there. And I'm guessing the other cell that we're looking at is potentially going to be back over here. One of these cells. That's what we're looking at. So we're again looking on this highway here looking west. So the storm that we're watching was back up to the top right of the screen there. So yeah, that's what we're looking at right now from Oklahoma City. This is the latest radar scan. Again, serious hail core that's developing back just to the east of 281. Let's check the DBZ values on this. 75. Yeah, we're up now 75 on this. This is a very high value. So again, 75 for a DBZ value just south of Kingfisher, near 81. So again, we're talking about large to very large hail, what that basically means. In addition to that, very, very heavy rain is possible, but I would definitely be more concerned about the heavy hail potential with this storm. There's probably a lot of hail falling. So if you were a truck driver along 81 or even 3 back through areas just to the north of El Reno and then back through Kingfisher, you're going to want to make sure you are not going on the roads right now. I'd recommend pulling over. There's probably gonna be at least large hail and maybe even some damaging winds with this. Here's the correlation coefficient. So again, it is still picking up on that hail. You can see it here. That is picking up on some, at least either large to very large hail, or it's picking up on the threat for a lot of hail, or even both. We could be very well talking about some very heavy hailstone sizes. Back over in Watonga a little while ago, we actually had confirmation of about 2 inches of accumulation of hail. That's not 2-inch diameter hail, which there could have been some, but back over in Watonga, there was around 2 inches in accumulation of hail, which is crazy. So again, very large hailstorm that is moving closer to Oklahoma City. It is not going directly towards Oklahoma City. It is going down towards El Reno, but this will be producing the threat for some large to very large hail over the next hour or so. Again, we'll be keeping a close eye on these live cams because, again, that's probably our best little eye to the sky here with these supercells that we have ongoing. I'm going to see if we have any other ones here. Again, this is looking... That other live cam we had was looking west. I'm going to see if we have anything else. This is another live view. This is a different one, but again, another live view here looking off to... Oh, I'm actually on the wrong screen. My bad. Let me go back to the other one. There we go. So yeah, looking off to the north, this is north, I think this is Interstate 35. Again, you can see more dark skies there at the right side of your screen. That is not the same cell that we're looking at right now. That is actually just a small shower. That's what we're looking at, this little shower here near Meridian, so nothing too crazy, but there's a little shower there. Again, back just south of Kingfisher is where we're trying to find a better live cam view here of this significant hailstorm. Again, this is producing hail upwards of hen egg-sized hail, and damaging winds around 60 miles per hour. And this might be one of our best shots of it. This is looking directly west here out of Oklahoma City. Look here in the background. Oh, there was actually just lightning. Do you guys see that? That was really quick. Lightning just struck there. That is the thunderstorm that we're looking at there out of Oklahoma City. And yeah, again, that is at least a storm. I'm not sure if it's the same exact one, because that is somewhat close to what we're looking at here. Yeah, I cannot confirm if that's the same cell. I'm going to double check here, but it's at least probably close to it. But yeah, that has to be that storm. So yeah, it was probably... And what we're looking at there is probably something on the southern end of this cell. But yeah, that lightning that just struck on screen. that is this cell over here still. There's nothing in between that little area, which that area that we're in was right here. So we're looking this direction. Well, it's kind of like west-northwest, so looking up towards that cell. But yeah, that was a pretty impressive cloud-to-ground lightning strike there. We do have another supercell trying to develop now back over near Interstate 35. And that's also just to the east of Mahal and 77 and south of Orlando. And then back over here still is our main hailstorm producing around hen egg sized hail and damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. This is right now moving down to the south near Kingfisher and as well as Okarche. Remember people, hen eggs cause headaches. They sure do. They really do cause headaches. I know it sounds, whenever I say hen eggs, it sounds like headaches. But yeah, I mean, they technically do. Again, we're going to continue tomorrow those live cams. They are pretty good live shots that we have on this area of storms. So we will keep you posted with anything there. Again, we have a few different ones in the Oklahoma City area. Pretty impressive, the cell that we have here, though. I mean, honestly, with the severe weather event that we have today, it's not supposed to be anything too long-tracked and, you know, that sort of thing. We're not looking at long-tracked supercells for the most part, but this one's been impressive so far. It's been ongoing for a good half an hour to an hour. Probably a good hour now, and this cell's been producing some pretty impressive hail, to say the least, so far. And obviously, more of that is to come as this moves down to the south, depending on if it does try to, or if it does end up weakening or not. Obviously, it's not trying to weaken, but with the environment that we have, I would not be surprised if this supercell does end up weakening a little bit over the next hour or so. Again, this is the live cam. This is the live cam view, though, out of the Oklahoma City area. Again, you can see here at the top of your screen, that is the supercell that we're watching. That is looking off to the east, or not to, I keep saying east, that's off to the west of Oklahoma City. So west-northwest Oklahoma City. Yeah, we just saw lightning strike up here, cloud-to-ground lightning not too long ago, literally about like 2 minutes ago. So I wouldn't be surprised, again, if this storm does produce more of that cloud-to-ground lightning over the next hour or two. But that is the supercell back at the top of your screen. And we'll watch it closely to see if it does end up producing anything too crazy as it gets closer to the Oklahoma City metro area. It is definitely an impressive little supercell. It's going to go towards El Reno as well as Yukon. It'll stay west of Oklahoma City. The area that we're watching for Oklahoma City storms will likely be anything in here. So that'll be any supercells that we see end up developing back near Cashion, maybe, as well as back through Coil. So I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but we're going to go with it. Again, Severe Thunderstorm Watch does go until 10 o'clock tonight. I won't be live for the entire thing, but it does go until 10 o'clock Central Time. Main threat is hen egg-sized hail, 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds, and maybe really no tornado threat here. The tornado risk that we have is going to be over the next hour. That is back up here into southeast Kansas, and we're going to double-check to see if any of these storms are rotating. And not really. We have very broad rotation on two little areas, one near Moline and another one near Howard. But again, very, very weak rotation and very broad. I'm not really too concerned about any of that, but we might see an isolated tornado in the next hour or so. That risk really does drop off really quickly after about 7 o'clock Central. So we're not really looking at much of a tornado risk after 7, which is pretty much just around or about after sunset is when that threat will drop off pretty quickly. How's everybody doing today? Welcome on into the stream if you're just tuning in. If you have any questions, by the way, feel free to let me know in the chat. Again, I will be probably answering a few here and there. How do people live through baseball-sized hail? Baseball-sized hail is wild. It really is. This isn't baseball-sized, at least from what I'm seeing. It's not baseball-sized hail that we're seeing near Kingfisher, but this is probably a good 2 to 2.5, not 2 to 2.5, 2 to 2.25 inches in diameter. So I'd say the maximum that we're seeing here is hen egg plus sized hail, which is basically a quarter larger than hen egg. So about 2.25 inches is probably the largest that we're seeing. But yeah, we're probably seeing a lot of hail here just south of Kingfisher. That's without a doubt. There's going to be a lot of hail out of this cell as it continues to move down to the south. Cashin, thank you. Have a good Easter. It was really relaxing. I didn't really do anything, so it was a pretty relaxing Easter overall. How was yours? Hope yours was good. I didn't really do a whole lot. Being at college, there's really not much to do. Here's the latest shot, by the way, of that supercell. Again, we're looking at the top of the screen for that supercell. This is out of the Oklahoma City metro. A lot of rain, obviously. That is the rain shaft that we're seeing, so you can kind of see a little bit through that. That means that's a bit lighter of rain, light to moderate, and then this is all heavy rain in here. Not see behind it. So that is a ton of rainfall that's falling. And the winds are definitely there. I mean, you can see the American flag there, and also the live cam here is also shaking. So that will give you an idea that there is some wind with this storm. So, yeah. That is in the Oklahoma City metro is where we're looking at that little live cam and the Oklahoma transportation. So, and nothing too crazy, but also, if you're just tuning in, make sure to like the stream, and if you're new here, make sure to subscribe down below. Radar always overestimates hail big time. Not always, actually, surprisingly. This hail radar, and I'll tell you, the hail radar is inconsistent. It doesn't always over or underestimate. It usually is just very inconsistent. The hail radar is really not built yet for measuring hail, believe it or not. It's not at that point, but it gives you at least an idea of what we're looking at. Because if you look back up here near Kingfisher, and you can see the key here. This is the red. The red is indicating around quarter-sized hail. That means about 1-inch diameter hail. Then look at this report that we had. Golf ball-sized hail. And this is actually outside of where the quarter-sized hail even fell, at least estimated by radar. So you get an idea here that there's much larger hail actually falling here. Now, most recent scans that we've had on this hail radar back near 3 and Route 81 south of Kingfisher by about 5 miles, that's right around 2-inch diameter hail, and you can see there on the key. So there was around 2-inch diameter hail, potentially that fell there. That's at least what's being estimated. Now, whether that actually happened, we don't know. We haven't had any reports yet confirming that, but there have been reports, and they have been confirmed by literally photographic evidence of golf ball-sized hail through this region, near and just north of 33. So you might be kind of thinking, hey, that's this thing always under or overestimates, but it's really just inconsistent. It's not really either or. It does typically overestimate a little bit more often than underestimate, but again, Here's the latest radar scan, by the way, on that. So you can see here, still around quarter to ping pong ball sized hail near Okarchi, moving down to the south through 81 and eventually going towards El Reno. And this has been probably one of the more long-tracked hailstorms that we've had today. Let me just go. We can over the, we'll do the 24-hour hail track here. And I'll show you what that actually looks like here. This, I believe, is the 24-hour hail track. Yeah, so this is the 24-hour hail track here. One other long hail track that we had was near Elk City, near 40. So we can kind of measure these out. I like doing this stuff. It's kind of fun. So let's go and do this. So this is the first hail track. It lasted about 28 miles. Let's see if anything else competes with that. The Watunga storm had 2-inch accumulation over in Watunga of hail. But this one about 30 miles. Severe limits, I'm just including hail. I'm not including severe limits. So 32 miles for about hail, at least being estimated. And then the storm that we have ongoing, I don't think there's anything longer, right? Yeah, there's nothing longer. We had a really long-tracked hailstorm yesterday. Again, this is a 24-hour loop. Back through Texas, this hailstorm was almost 120 miles, which is wild. But if we go back to the storm that's ongoing right now, that's producing around golf ball to hen egg-sized hail, let's do the 1-hour loop again. And so far, this has been ongoing for about 22 miles. So it's not there yet at the longest tracked hailstorm so far, which this one probably will be the longest tracked one, bearing something that really weakens it really quickly, which again, the environment's not very favorable for long tracked hailstorms. And by the way, 30 miles is about 1.5 hours. So about 90 minutes of hail or so. We're falling with those other storms back out to the west. All these cells that we have are moving around 15 to 20 miles per hour. So this one's been ongoing for about an hour and 15 to 20 minutes or so, and that started back near Dover. So about 23 miles of hail so far. Now, if we go back to the live radar feed, the hail core did weaken a little bit, but it's still going. Still an impressive hail core that we have, and it has not weakened really hardly at all. It's weakened the slightest bit, but even then, we are still seeing some pretty impressive hail. The DBZ value peak that we had with this was 75. I'm guessing where we're seeing those black colors, which represents your larger hailstone sizes, that is probably in the ballpark of 70, and yeah, that's right around 70 right now. So it's still not really weakened a whole lot. If anything, it's like the slightest bit of weakening, but the hail core is still pretty large right now, moving across 81 and down to 3. And I will continue to watch this over the next little bit. But yeah, again, this is a pretty impressive hailstorm. It's been ongoing for quite a while. Again, this is the hailstorm that we're looking at. This is looking directly to the west. That is the hailstorm. Now, we will not get a direct hit on this. This is, again, looking west-northwest. But that is the hailstorm that we have just off to the west-northwest there of Oklahoma City. So, again, that's the hailstorm. We just, at the very beginning when we first looked at this, we actually saw lightning strike the ground, believe it or not, with this cell. So, the storm is capable of that sort of threat as well. Again, pretty impressive for this sort of cell. Also, the warning that's ongoing in Harmon, that is still a quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Really no cities included other than Hollis. That's more of a town, but it's the latest there. Do I think Fletcher, Oklahoma will be okay? Fletcher, Oklahoma will probably get something, but I'm not too concerned about anything too crazy down that direction. I think the most significant hail threat will really be over the next 2 hours, and that's primarily going to be in here. With any cells that develop, that's going to be the main threat. But yeah, this supercell that's west of Oklahoma City has really the greatest potential for significant hail over the next hour. After that, I think the hail threat does diminish a bit. It's not going to be really high over the next few hours. It's not going to be like, you know, something crazy, but we are still going to be watching for a potential for some large hail. This is not a widespread outbreak, but we are watching for some scattered severe weather. So yeah, again, I'm not too concerned about the long term with this. I'm more concerned about really over the next hour or two. Any tornado warnings today? Nope, no tornado warnings, which is good news. But again, we might see an isolated tornado down in southeast Kansas. I wouldn't rule it out. This is the live radar in Kansas. We'll go back to the velocities here on these storms. But yeah, nothing that's crazy right now. This is the one area that there might be an isolated tornado tonight. That would be within the next 2 hours, but that threat does seem to be like 0 at this point. I'm not saying it's 0, but it seems to be 0 because the storms would be a bit more organized and a bit stronger if we were to see a tornado here. Again, there had to be enough low-level moisture for this to actually end up occurring with an isolated tornado risk. There's still a chance. I mean, the Storm Prediction Center outlined a 2% risk area here anywhere in this green. So that's basically from Ponca City back through Chanute. But yeah, I'm not overly concerned about this threat. Again, it's going to be a quick, isolated tornado. But if something does happen, we have a couple of live cams over here, so we might be able to catch something. But yeah, right now, good news. Nothing too crazy so far. A lot of rain, which is needed here across Oklahoma. Again, this area isn't a drought, so any rain will definitely go a long way, but the tornado risk does seem to be pretty low with that. And any storms in Oklahoma, I'm not expecting any sort of tornado threat here. More of a wind threat. There's no rotation at all on this storm. That is really severe. This is the most severe storm that we have right now ongoing, and it is nowhere near levels of being a tornado warning. There's no rotation at all, so it's good news. At least low-level rotation. Softball-sized hail. Has that been reported? Let me double check here. I mean, I wouldn't rule out softball-sized hail at this point, but the storm has been pretty impressive, but I don't think it's that high. I haven't seen any reports, at least yet, of that sort of hailstone size at this point. But I will still check to see if we have any sort of other reports. The main sources I followed have not said anything like that. And I'm not seeing anything else. Yeah, right now it's up to 2-inch diameter. Again, I wouldn't rule out an isolated hailstorm with this, or hailstone with this storm upwards of maybe, you know, tennis ball is probably the peak. I think tennis ball will probably be the peak on this storm, but I do not think it'll be really too far beyond that. Softball-sized hail does seem to be a bit of a stretch. By the way, look at this. You can actually see the reflectivity here. This is all because of the hail. It's actually, you can see that little stretch out. So there is a ton of hail falling. Whether it's large hail, like very large hail, or it's just a lot of hail, is kind of a bit of a question mark. I'm guessing it's a lot of hail here, but there's a ton of hail falling. The correlation coefficient has been picking up on it here for a while. That's near Karchi. Reflectivity values, again, very large hail potentially falling there. How's it going, Ro? Welcome back. Red is going away from the radar, and green is going towards the radar for velocities. Yeah, so this is the velocities here. And so since we're looking at a radar site back down in Oklahoma City, the red is representing winds going away, and then green's going towards, but very weak winds. It's kind of hard to really put an example with this because there really isn't any rotation here, but that's at least what we're looking at there. So red is going away, green is going towards. Way I think about it, red means going away. That's basically the definition. But red is essentially like, you know, you're going going further away from where you need to be, and then green's going closer to where you need to be, that sort of thing. That's like the easiest way to remember it, but that's if you don't like remember it off the bat, which I obviously memorized for like years, so at least maybe even a decade. I don't know. It's been a long time. Further reminder, if you're just tuning in, make sure to like the stream, subscribe if you've not already, and again, we'll be live here for a little while. Again, if anything kind of comes close to Kansas City, or not Kansas City, Oklahoma City, we'll keep a close eye on it. But again, I'm not looking at anything too significant today. It's going to be, again, nothing that's going to be out of the ordinary. Just large to very large hail is really the only concern, and that's what we're seeing out of this cell right now near Okarchi, moving down to the south and east. So that's really the main concern here over the next little while, but beyond that, nothing that's going to be too out of the ordinary. So we'll monitor the threat pretty closely. Again, this will probably be the main cell that we cover, and if anything gets close to Oklahoma City within the next like 45 minutes, we'll keep a close eye on that as well. But again, this is probably the most concerning cell. This is going to stay west of Oklahoma City with golf ball sized hail potential. The latest warning is up to hen egg size, so we'll also be watching for that potential with this cell. Topeka. I think Topeka's already done with severe weather. Let me double check. Most of Kansas won't see anything. Yeah, Topeka's already done. The only severe weather that could occur, which is a very low chance to begin with, is to your south. So nothing that's too concerning down that direction at this point. Here's that hailstorm right now. Again, going with golf ball sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. North of El Reno, moving down to the south. Again, this hailstorm has been long tracked for a good hour and a half, I would say. Again, long tracked in this environment is about 2 hours, so it's definitely been long tracked to say the least. This will continue to move down to the south over the next little while. So just make sure, if you're in the track of this storm, you're staying away from windows. You don't really have to be on the lowest floor possible, but stay away from windows. Damaging winds up to 60 if you're near a tree or anything like that. If you have trees surrounding your home, I'd stay away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. Just in case. Again, hail could even be blowing with this cell. We've had a lot of reports of like cumulative hail, upwards of like 2 inches out of Watunga. This specific cell, we haven't had those reports yet, but I would not rule out that we have a storm or two, or an area or two with this cell that do actually have some cumulative hail. All right, so we have another report slash video. I'm going to retweet it again on Twitter, so if you want to check that out. But there has been a lot of cumulative hail in Okarchi. Okarchi is the area that the hail's falling in right now, but there's been a ton of accumulative hail there, and it is still falling, believe it or not. And this area has had around 1 inch of hail accumulate, which is wild. So yeah, there's been a lot of hail. Yeah, pretty impressive sell. Do GeoGuessr streams or gaming streams when weather's boring. Now, I'm keeping this to just weather. I mean, I don't even really do any of that stuff to begin with. I don't have that much free time either, so maybe over the summer, if there's like, I might do like a members only stream or something like that where we do that, but otherwise I doubt it. Also, new report that just came out of the cell near Canadian and Kingfisher, Oklahoma. We just had now an observed threat of 2-inch diameter hail. So this storm is officially producing 2 inches in diameter hail. It's also accumulating hail. So cell's producing 2 threats: accumulative hail and 2-inch diameter hail has now been confirmed. Nothing beyond that quite yet has been confirmed. So I know somebody mentioned softballs, but I'm almost positive this is not producing softball-sized hail. We do not have that sort of environment, but there is definitely a chance that we're seeing some hail in the ballpark of 2-inch diameter. That's the latest update there from the National Weather Service. Has at least at this point been confirmed. Again, the only area that's in the track of the cell right now is Yukon and as well as El Reno. Technically, the downtown area of Yukon is not in the track of this, or right now in the morning, I mean. But that's what we're looking at with the cell right now. See if we can pull up that live cam view again of this cell. This is a pretty impressive cell. Look at this. This is the live view here. Again, this is the supercell thunderstorm that is going right now through areas, or not yet through El Reno, but it's about to be. And that's the cell that we're looking at here. So, yeah, again, that's a big rain shaft for sure. Lots of rain. Might actually catch a lightning strike. We'll see. Again, cloud to ground lightning is possible with this supercell as well, as it continues to move down to the south over the next several minutes. Ostrich egg-sized hail? I don't think so. Imagine. Ostrich egg-sized hail would be pretty impressive. Thank you, Kevin and Carol, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Is a storm going to be in, no, Indiana's not seeing severe weather. Your next chance for any severe weather will probably not be until Saturday. So, yeah, really dark skies. Really dark skies here. And it is rush hour, which makes things 2 times worse. Or just after rush hour. Maybe people are getting dinner right now. You actually see behind the storm, too. No rain at all. Again, it really gives you a good idea of what we're looking at here. Luckily, we have that little dividing line. Again, this is all rain and hail. Even back over here, too. There's all rain and hail right now, just off to the west here of Oklahoma City. So, really impressive supercell. Again, I'll keep a close eye on that and show updates as needed. We do have a new supercell that is now, or somewhat of a supercell that's developing back to the north of the one that we have ongoing. This is going to be for Cashin as well as Moron City, maybe. That's for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. This is not a report from the cell, by the way, but this is a cell that is now newly developed, basically off the other supercell it developed. So they are the area back up here is getting double hit basically by supercell. You can actually go over the 2-hour loop and you'll be able to see that. Or actually, I'll do the 1-hour loop. We've had a couple of different supercells. We actually had one other cell that developed a little while ago, produced up to golf ball sized hail. That has fizzled out entirely. It's just a little bit of rain. And then this is our main supercell that we're watching that is producing some large to very large hail. We've already had confirmation of 2-inch diameter hail. That's moving down to the south. And then the storm back up here that's now newly developing, which has kind of been a thing for a while. It's struggled to really intensify. It barely intensified to the point where the National Weather Service actually issued a warning, but it is producing quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. And elsewhere, we're not really seeing any severe weather. The only other severe storm that we have ongoing is back through southwest Oklahoma. And then we have some other shower and storm activity through southeast Kansas, none of which is severe right now, but that is where a low-end risk for a tornado will exist tonight. Potentially. It's a low threat, though. you have any questions, by the way, feel free to leave those in the chat. Let me actually, I forgot to take off slow mode here. Slow mode doesn't really have to be on anymore. Slow mode was on when we had like 5,000 people watching. Again, the new severe thunderstorm warning that we have back up north of Cashin is for Kingfisher and Logan County. That's for 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-sized hail. This is your main hailstorm that's ongoing. Let's go and pause the radar. This is your main hailstorm near Okarche, moving down to the south. Hail core will be moving towards El Reno over the next 30 to 45 minutes. Again, it's not a quick-moving storm. It's moving at about 15 miles per hour down to the south, but this is right around golf ball-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. For those in really basically northwestern Oklahoma City, El Reno, Yukon, Piedmont, as well as Okarche, Poncho, and Ridgeland. Or Richland, excuse me. I said Ridgeland. But yeah, again, Richland. Those areas are all included, again, in this ongoing severe thunderstorm warning. No rotation. Just for those that are concerned about a tornado risk, we're not looking at any tornadoes, but we are looking at a significant hail potential. Hail is still falling across this area, and again, the reflectivity even picks up on the hail track here, which means there's a lot of hail falling here around Okarche. We've already had some videos that I retweeted on Twitter. A lot of videos already coming out of this cell that are showing hail accumulation in this area, but there's a huge spike of hail that we're seeing here around Okarche, just to the northwest of Oklahoma City. We have a 1.25-inch diameter hail report out of a couple miles north of Okarche as well. This actually just popped up on my map too, so yeah, that's the latest report. That's from an MPing report, which is basically the public reporting sort of reports, so that's the latest report that we have out of there. Yeah, so that's the only report that we have. But again, we've had lots of reports of accumulating hail. Not just that, there is a ton of hail falling. It's not like we're seeing a few hailstones. We're seeing like tons. We've seen accumulation upwards of 2 inches of hail. Yes, accumulation of 2 inches. I'm not even kidding. There's literally 2 inches of accumulation that fell back over Watunga. This area is also seeing accumulation of hail near Okarche. And the reason why is because we're seeing this huge string of hail. It's a very slow-moving cell. And in addition to that, the environment that we have is supportive of hail. And when we have a string of hail like this, it's much easier when they're moving north to south as well to see hail accumulation. So we're basically just going to see repeating hail and hail and hail falling in Okarche here for the next like 30 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less than that. Just depends on how quickly it moves down to the south. But it's been basically just dumping hail over the last hour, which is pretty crazy. We've seen some accumulation in this area, almost like snow or sleet. Giant storm popped out of nowhere in Brownsville. Oh, from earlier? Yeah, the one in Brownwood. Yeah, Brownwood had a storm pop up earlier. There's actually another cell it looks like popping up. Just double check. Yeah, it looks like this cell just developed as well. Nothing too concerning, but might produce a little bit of hail at some point. We actually have an outflow boundary, that's why. We're going to see more storms definitely develop over the next hour. You can actually see the outflow boundary in motion here. This moving off to the north and northwest. There's going to be more supercells, or not supercells, but at least cells that will develop over the next hour here. We got a couple that just formed. We might see a couple more. Depends on how much instability is available here, but there might be a couple more supercells that develop down there. Especially since we have that outflow boundary. Here's the latest radar scan. So again, hail core is right now located over Okarche. And then another one back up to the west of Crescent, moving down to the south. So both hail cores moving south, producing the threat for golf ball-sized hail. And the southerly cell and the one northerly cell is right now producing $1/4 to $1/2 sized hail. Thank you, Simple, for becoming a subscriber. Appreciate it. Thanks, military. Appreciate it. Last April is the first... Funny enough, last April, this is basically my 1-year anniversary of live streaming on YouTube this month. So, yeah, I think first ever live stream on YouTube was April 2nd of 2022. It was more of a test stream, but that was our first ever live stream on YouTube. And then from there, we had more and more, and then it was all North Texas until like mid or late May. And by late May, this channel became a bit more nationwide. I think June was really the month that we went nationwide. So... we are now a nationwide YouTube channel. Maybe I should get a cake for this anniversary. That'd be nice. Make a cake. Actually, I do remember you, military. I do remember you. I do recognize the name. It's heading towards Edmond. I have no clue where that is. Let me figure that out. I'm not entirely, I mean, I'm somewhat familiar with Oklahoma, but I'm not 100%. Texas is a state that I'm more familiar with. In terms of Edmond or Edmond, I don't know how you say that, but right now you're not on the track of this supercell. If any cells do develop up here, which they have been over the last hour, if any cells do develop up here, though, you'd be in the track reasonably around 7 to 9 o'clock is going to be your best chance for a storm. But that's really contingent on an actual storm developing and going down to the south. Because the only storms that we're seeing right now are down over here. These are the main supercells, the two that we have north and northwest of Oklahoma City. And then we have a few others to your northeast, but these are going to be moving a bit more in this direction, and they're not really severe, and they probably will not become severe. There's like a low chance that any of that activity there will actually become severe. But there might be some lightning, so just always a good reminder, just, you know, don't go outdoors until there's like no thunder in the area, no lightning. Here's a supercell again over near Oklahoma City. There is a ton of rain falling right now. This is that tons of rain. That's the hailstorm right now west of Oklahoma City. Really impressive supercell that's moving down to the south. Like weather, YouTube is ignoring Southeast Kansas. Southeast Kansas, I don't think has been ignored. On Tuesday night, oh, is that from the severe weather outbreak that we had on Tuesday? Yeah, I mean, that was kind of forecasted. I mean, Southeast Kansas was included in a threat for severe weather. The line of storms formed, though, earlier than forecasted, but I wouldn't say you've been ignored by any means. There's, you know, the main area that had the severe weather back on Tuesday was to your east, even though you had a chance. I'm pretty sure I mentioned Oklahoma a few times in the live streams that we had, so not like I blatantly ignored Southeast Kansas. All right, we do have a new warning that has been issued for those in Canadian County. This is going to be for hen egg-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. This storm, again, will not be going towards Oklahoma City. The ones that might will be these ones. These are going to be the main concernings for Oklahoma City, or maybe even more Oklahoma, basically anywhere in the Oklahoma City metro. You're not under the gun for this particular storm, but you might be on another cell in an hour or two. But this storm is going to be moving down to the southwest. Again, hen egg-sized hail has been now confirmed, and we're also watching for the potential of some damaging winds around 60 miles per hour. Those are the main threats right now with this supercell. And always a good reminder, just make sure you stay away from windows as a storm does approach, or it's in your area, because again, hail can bust through windows very easily. I do not recommend being near windows during this thunderstorm. No problem, Hannah. Does higher tilts look higher into the storm on radar scope? Yes, higher tilts are looking higher. You can think of a tilt, I mean, I don't have a diagram, but I'll draw something real quick on the map. So for those that are wondering about radar tilts, basically this is the surface. This is 0.0 degrees or whatever, and the tilts go up from here, like that. They start looking higher and higher and higher into a storm. So the higher your tilt, the higher you're looking up into a thunderstorm. Now, they all look at different things, and you can look up a diagram on Google pretty easily, but they all look at different things. So if we look at the velocities, which the velocities aren't really a great example, to be honest, but if you go, this is the 0.5 degree tilt, this is 0.9 degrees, 1.3 degrees, these are going all up in elevation, 2.4 degrees, 3.1, 4.0, 5.1, I mean, they get really high, but you can see the winds, you know, the higher that we go, we actually, let's use the reflectivity. This will be a better thing to look at. So 0.9, 1.3, this is 1.8, 2.4, 3.1, 4.0, 5.1, 6.4, 8.0, and then 10. So 8 degrees from this distance. If there's any weather geeks in the chat, you can go and look up a diagram and tell me. I'll probably look one up actually. But it goes up to about 8 degrees, and we're probably a good 50 miles from the radar site. So I'll look that up. Radar tilt with height. See if we can find something on that. This hail core is insane. It's super large, or they're very high cloud tops. Not sure if I can find an actual thing here. So yeah, we're looking up about 10 degrees. I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to find a good chart here. Oh, this is a good one. Yeah, so there's a chart that we can look at here. I'm going to do the diagram on my other screen so I can just figure this out here. So distance from radar. So I have to convert miles to kilometers, which is very exciting. This is about 45 miles to kilometers, which is 72. That's quite far, which explains the very high cloud tops here. Also, Twitter report with video of 2-inch diameter hail was just reported out of Okarchi. All right, so we're about 70-ish miles, which doesn't even go on the screen here. The height is 10 degrees. So, yeah, that's not really going to give us much of an estimate, but that's probably somewhere in the realm of maybe 10 kilometers? That doesn't seem realistic. Pretty sure we have a radar that just literally tells us, but I was trying to do the manual thing. The problem is the chart only goes to 60 kilometers that I have. So here are the echo tops. The echo tops that are being estimated are around 35,000-ish feet, maybe 40,000 feet. So, yeah, I mean, I wish I had an easier way to just manually calculate it. But yeah, this is a pretty impressive supercell. And being about 75 kilometers away from the radar site, it does obviously factor into what we're seeing here with the hail. Yeah, this is a massive hail core. I mean, the storm's huge. You can see, again, this is literally right here is hail. Not right here, but you can see here the radar is basically bouncing off of a bunch of hail, which basically is making it look like it's raining over here, which it isn't. But this hail core is just so massive here south of Okarchi. So yeah, if we go back up to the 5.1 degree, it's huge. It's even up to 8 degrees. It goes as high as about 8 degrees on the tilt, even almost 10 degrees. I'm pretty sure it goes to 10. There's like a small speck that goes to 10, but yeah. It's a huge hailstorm here near Okarchi, producing hen egg sized hail, and it is also accumulating, by the way. We've had a lot of videos of accumulating hail with this storm that is literally covering the roadways. It looks like it just snowed or sleeted. Obviously, again, this is hail. We're not in that sort of environment, but it's not cold enough for that sort of stuff. How's it going, boss? Welcome back. That was an Easter egg hunt. Yeah, we have an Easter egg hunt. I mean, a lot of people that are right now in Okarchi are probably going on Easter egg hunts right now. It's a day after Easter, but they got Easter eggs falling from the sky. We have Easter egg-sized hail. Eggs are expensive. Pick them up. Oh my god. All right, let me go back over to here real quick. Further reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe down below and like the stream as well. Helps get this out to more people. I'll be live for a little bit longer. We'll see how long the storm goes. But again, we have another storm up to the north of Oklahoma City. But overall, this concern for significant hail is really peaking in the next hour. So after about 7:30, we're still watching for some severe weather. And this is a storm in particular that has a better chance of producing a long-tracked hailstorm. But overall, the hail potential in terms of significant hail is really over the next hour or so. I do not think we'll see significant hail past about 8 o'clock. We'll still see hail, but it's not going to be like 1.75 inch diameter or greater, in my opinion. I think most of the hail that is significant will be over the next hour or so. Raining in Fletcher. It's always good to get rain. I think you guys are in like a low-end drought down there in Fletcher. Looks like there is a little bit of rain down this direction, though. Nothing too crazy. The severe storm in southwest Oklahoma is no longer warned as a severe storm, by the way. So, or you know, that's no longer warned. The only warnings that we do not have 5. We actually have 2. I haven't updated it. But the 2 warnings that we have right now are around the Oklahoma City metro. The one that's going towards El Reno has the more significant hail core. And then elsewhere, we don't have any sort of crazy hail that's ongoing. So this is the main hailstorm. There's another one just to the north of this, but it is a lot weaker at this point. It's still producing some hail, but it's probably not producing severe limits anymore. It was around quarter sized at one point, but it is definitely starting to weaken out a little bit. There's already been a supercell in this area, so there's going to be a bit more sinking air, which is going to kind of hurt the supercell from really maintaining its intensity as it moves down to the south through Cashin, just to the west of Cedar Valley. This is definitely the main hail core here. Still producing some large to very large hail north of El Reno, moving down to the southeast. I was just kind of thinking, what if I went crazy and just made another... What if I uploaded a video in like half an hour? Or an hour. So if I end this live stream in like 30 minutes, I might be able to make a quick video, get one out by 7:30. What would you think about a night video? I've never uploaded a forecast past 5:30. So that'd be the first if I did that. How's Nevada, Missouri looking? You're probably looking fine. Anything, unless you're in like western Missouri, you have a chance for isolated storms tonight, but not overly concerned about significant severe weather. I don't think you'll see anything that crazy beyond that. How's college going? It's going. I have an exam this week, and yeah. I don't think I'll have a video tomorrow, so I'll probably try it. I mean, yeah, I'll probably end up making a video after this live stream, and I'll probably upload one tonight, because I don't think I'll be able to upload one tomorrow. Or, I might be able to upload one Wednesday, but we'll see. I think really the main thing that we're watching over the next, like, week is going to be the severe weather potential this weekend. That's when we could see some significant severe weather. That's really the next chance for, like, a severe weather outbreak. That'll be this weekend, Friday through Sunday. That's the best chance. Might see something in the Midwest back through the Southern Plains. It's not too far off of a setup that we just saw this past Tuesday, but it will not be the same exact thing. We're not looking at, a full-blown tornado outbreak or anything like that, but it will definitely be something to watch for. Night streams are great. Night streams are my favorite. I like going live at night. My favorite live streams are after like 9 o'clock Central, but we don't usually do 9 o'clock Central or later streams anymore, at least. I mean, we haven't really had any recently. We've had a lot of afternoon events and like early evening events. Row 2 years, I think. Yeah, about 2 years. But I do get out in about a month. So, looking forward to that. Just check real quick on Kansas. We're gonna just see if there's any sort of crazy storms up here. Not sure if we have any like rotating supercells. Yeah, so if you're in Kansas, tornado risk is pretty much 0 at this point. I'm not concerned about it. That was really the biggest reason why I went live, was because I thought there might be a tornado tonight. Like, sometimes we get curveballs with these events, and we've seen it before, really over the summer especially. We get some curveball events where there's like a marginal or slight risk, and we end up getting like a mini tornado outbreak. But what we're seeing here is really the main event. It's gonna be west of Oklahoma City, moving towards El Reno. So that's really the main storm, and it'll continue to move down to the south and south-southwest over the next little while towards Interstate 40. So just make sure you have a close eye to the sky, have a way to receive alerts, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I'm actually going to end the stream here. I was going to go live longer, but I do actually want to get a video out now. So I'm going to make a quick video. It'll be out in like half an hour probably, maybe 45 minutes. So make sure you have notifications on. Click the bell down below. Like the stream if you've not already. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, make sure you subscribe down below before you leave. And I'll have a video probably in about 45 minutes. I'm going to try to quickly get one out because I'm not probably going to be able to make one tomorrow. So yeah, that's it for the stream. I appreciate everybody tuning in. This will be my latest video upload in literally ever. So congratulations. If you watch that video, you'll be watching the latest upload I've ever had. I've never had a video uploaded after 5:30, which is crazy. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a safe rest of your night. Again, make sure you have ways to receive alerts, but mainly a hail threat for the next few hours. Significant hail threat is really only going to exist with this supercell. Elsewhere, the threat's going to be kind of lower. So, but yeah, appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a safe night. We'll see you guys all again soon. And again, 45 minutes from now, expect a video, probably around 7:15 Central Time, 8:15 Eastern. So